Altcoin season's finally in. This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name's Neil. Keeping technical analysis short and sweet as always, starting with Bitcoin with that major bullish movement upwards. We closed above this previous high, had the continuation. This is really the next resistance we're dealing with. We may get a little consolidation within this area, but we're wicking off, meaning there are a lot more buyers for Bitcoin at the moment, and 14.7 billion Bitcoin longs at risk, apparently. So with Bitcoin being talked about, compound, you've got many times to get in around 40 to 43, 46, maybe $49. Anywhere within this range is a good entry point, as compound has an all-time high of around nearly 1,000. I will be pulling out of my bag for the next move up on 61. And a little bit higher, and then a little bit higher, obviously piecing out and putting it into something else such as like XRP or maybe LCX, but compound definitely has some major potential. I would stack a tiny bag of it if you can. I mean, if you got $50 and you want to see it potentially turn into 1,000, anything that you buy worth that $1,000, I mean, you're going to see that it only cost you $50 minus capital gains tax. None of this is financial advice, but once it gets over that 200 EMA is where we are looking for bigger position size if you have not entered into compound. QNT, major pullback, major pull up, got that resistance right off that downward trend line as expected. The CM guppy is very thinned out. We are holding above the 200 EMA, shown by this bullish engulfing, more or less. That push up, close above this orange candle, had that continuation. We could expect a little bit more consolidation, a little rejection on that downward trend line, but ultimately once we're over that, we have quite a ways with not a whole bunch of resistance. So anywhere from 110 to around 124, we may get a little resistance here and trade within this range at this 119 area before pushing up and trying to test this previous high around 131 to 135. If we can get over that area, 149 to 160 or 171 is where we are looking at for a little bit of a scalp trade where we could sell. Keeping in mind this is the daily. When we start doing scalp trading, we're going to be looking at the 4 hours. So daily it shows the bigger confirmation. 4 hours does get a little bit scarier, but it's easier to tell exactly when we might start seeing pullbacks. This is the 4 hour. We pushed up over, and then we got that pullback to touch the 200 EMA, and this looks a lot healthier than the daily, and showing that we got that resistance, a little bit more consolidation, maybe touch it again and break, and we might start seeing it push upwards, pulling the CM guppy and the 200 EMA up along with it, considering its support once we break that downward trend line. I know we are waiting for this to start pushing back up, but we also have seen Quant move very fast in the past, like we were down here at $63 and pushed up to 171 within 1 month. Pretty substantial gains, but that's just the previous point. 618's all the way up here at 280. The full one retracement is roughly here at 429. But we can expect Quant to start hitting nearly 1,000 to 1,500. Are you going to be holding that long as you've been dealing with this downtrend? Most likely not. You're going to want to start pulling profits on your way up. You could leave a tiny bag to try and gain the little bit extra that you can, but it's definitely a good idea to start piecing out of QNT and putting into something smaller. For example, DNT. Downward wedge, had that pullback, 200 EMA, still within this area, but it's tested this line 3 times. A fourth tap could make it a break and have that potential upward momentum towards $1.03. The next real resistance is up here at $1.55. Keeping in mind the all-time high is $20. Very good ROI, risk to reward ratio for BNT. If you have not entered, we are currently up 100%. Since our entry around 32, and it's in that downward wedge. We're just waiting for this to be broken, and then this thing will rip. We've seen it happen in the past. Like, look at that. It's happened more than once. This is not even the all-time high, and this is not even the all-time high. The all-time high is up there. So BNT definitely has a very long way to go. We got a lot of data from previous bull markets where it has major bullish momentum. Say back here, whenever we crossed over that 200 EMA, which is more or less where we were at. Say we were at 63 cents. 1,300 potential or percent potential profit with BNT from that previous push. But it does have the opportunity to go a lot higher. So don't miss your chance to get in on BNT. None of this is financial advice, it's just my personal opinion. DNT and XYO are very similar long consolidation periods, but it is appropriate to keep the 200 EMA nice and close before it can just rip right past it. Moving right over to XYO, since it looks very similar, it did break this black upward trend line that we were trying to hold, captured a lot of sellers that were trying to push it further down, captured a lot of buyers that were selling out, and then had that immediate push back up towards this trend line. Ultimately, when it slowly trickles over this downward trend line, this major resistance is broken, and then we only have to deal with the 200 EMA and the 0.01 to 0.011 area before the potential move up here to the dotted red lines and beyond for XYO. So if you have not stacked your bag, it's less than a penny now. Put a couple $10, $100, $1,000 into XYO, as you will not regret putting your pennies and turning them into quarters or more. None of this is financial advice. LCX still working that line with the 200 EMA. I still believe ideally we need to break this downward trend line and hold above 15 cents for a good while before entering. You may see this thing rip past it. That's a possibility. But typically we see retests of this downward trend line before taking off. So keep that in mind with LCX. It is building up very well. And the reason I got this height is from the bottom of this previous area to the top, around 78%, drag it to this area. That's around 50% once it breaks out. Keeping in mind the 618 is up here around 28 cents, nearly double money for LCX. Sneaking in the XRP, HBAR, XLM, and CTSI. My God, that looks so good. That is a good looking chart. If you're not entered into XRP and you were looking for confirmation, this is your confirmation. Could we see rejection and still play out within this triangle? Yes, but ultimately it feels like there's no other option but to go up for XRP. It is your roughly last chance to get it at $3. Yeah, this thing's going to be brutal. We've seen in the past major increases in price. Earlier last year, I believe, 555%. We are currently around 500% increase, but this still has a very long way to go. $5, we may get some rejection and a little bit of a retrace, but ultimately this thing can go up to around $15 or higher. If you are entering in at $3, you will not be worried that entire ride, as well as you will be able to stake XRP in the near future and earn passive income off your $3 investment while the currency continues to increase in price, because it burns itself when transactions are made. So instead of the cash value where we can just print more money, you can't print more XRP, it only gets burned, so it becomes more and more valuable, meaning the price has to be higher and higher. So if you missed your opportunity, now is your entry for XRP. When we can close above this downward trend line, we might start seeing this push very quickly, and it is not a gain that you want to miss out on. Even if you want to do scalp trading, very good opportunity, as I've done many scalp trades with XRP in the past, and it's very fun, it's very fluid, and it's easy to see where the in and outs are. So let's readjust this downward line. Say we're working within this wedge, holding above the 200 EMA is very strong. This is our surface. We are not going to be going underneath that, most likely, with Bitcoin's push to 120,000. When we break this area, we may test and then take off to new highs for HBAR, XLP, XLM are all things that you should be keeping an eye on. XLM is starting to build its movement upwards, bullish signal here, trying to close above the previous high, and when it does, it can be pushing back up to the 50-cent mark and beyond, filling out a cup and handle pattern, which have major potential to push very high very quickly once we break the 64-cent mark. So if you're not wanting to get in at 40 cents and you want to pay the 75% increase in price, that's fine. But if you enter in at here, you would not be worried, even with the pullback at 64 cents and beyond, and you can write it out. CTSI, before I close this, building, consolidating, similar to DNT, similar to XYO. We need to hold above the 200 EMA, but everything is looking extremely bullish for CTSI. Currently 7 cents, has a very nice all-time high around $1.79. Very good ROI on CTSI. Don't put all your bag into it, but it's just something to keep in mind. It is trying to weasel its way over that 200 EMA, and when it does and holds, even with the rejection and pullback, it had that push up and had major growth potential from 10 cents to nearly 45 cents, I believe. So keep CTSI on your radar. And lastly, Tornado Cash. You can trade it on MEXC. You know that. There's a reference link in the description below. You probably know that. If you use that reference link, you get 10 USDT for free, which is like 10% if you put in $100. 10% increase in profit right off the get-go. And if you trade Tornado Cash, currently at 14.77, major rejection, but major support here at the $11 mark and the 200 EMA and the upward trend line and the volume. Everything is bullish on this. We did have the push nearly up to the 618. Could we see a little bit of a retracement potentially into the 13 area? Yes. But if Bitcoin continues to run, once it breaks over this 15 and holds, the next stop, like I've been saying, is 22 to 27 or higher. So don't miss your opportunity to enter into Tornado. It's one of the cryptocurrencies that is up over 100% since my original entry within the trading signal channel. And it's a beautiful chart. It's very bullish, and this thing is not going to be going away, and it moves extremely fast. We see one day major rip to the upside. Even if you did not have a sell within that area, you are still selling at nearly 3 times the amount at this absolute low. So your chance, your opportunity, $14.97 now. I'm going to keep bringing it up in these videos, and I hope you guys can follow along and trade it, because I can guarantee you, if you watch my videos and you have not bought Tornado Cash, this is the one that I would be recommending if I stop creating videos and say, hey, at least I turned your $15 into $500, or $15 into $250. If that is, part of my life in trying to make it better for the people, I hope it works, and I hope they heed my opinion, because none of this is financial advice, and stack some Tornado Cash. I have increased my position over and over again from 750, 10, 11, 13. Even with the pullback, we are all in profit in Tornado Cash. That's it for this video. Like and subscribe. Watch my videos in the passing the day to get me watch hours, and good luck. Have fun with it. I will see you on the next one.